So good morning everyone. Our lesson for today in third quarter is all about module number 1 and is entitled Volcanism. But before anything else, I want everybody to be reminded of the following things. First is to listen attentively and keep your focus to the lesson. Second is to write down all important information. Third is to mute your microphone when someone is talking or speaking. And the last one is to participate in class discussion by clicking the raise hand button from your device. So to start with, let's have a short recap of the lesson that we had last week. Do you still remember the things that we had discussed? Alright, we talk about volcano and the types of volcanic eruption. We also discuss about the three types of magma, which are the basaltic magma, the andesitic magma, and the rhyolitic magma. Another lesson is all about the factors that affects the viscosity. And the most important of all is the reason why do volcanoes erupt. And to strengthen these ideas, it is very good for us to have some motivation regarding the past lesson through a game. So I want you to open your browser and type kahoot.it and wait for the code to be flashed on the screen. So I hope you enjoyed the game. The most essential learning competency for today's lesson is to describe the different types of volcanoes. The expectations are the following. Number one is to describe the types of volcano based on structure and activity. Number two is to differentiate between active and inactive volcanoes. Number three is to give examples of each type which are found in the Philippines. And last time we discussed about volcano and we all know that it is a rupture on the Earth's surface where molten rocks, smoke, hot gases, and ashes are ejected. The parts of the volcano compose of the following, like the ash cloud, layers of ash, lava flow, crater, vent, parasitic cone, and lacolith. The three basic parts are the summit, the slope, and the base. So let me give you some brief introduction about the Philippines and its connection to volcano. Our country is a home for many volcanoes, meaning there are so many volcanoes found in the Philippines. But why? Because we are located along the Pacific Ring of Fire. What is the Ring of Fire? According to Wikipedia, the Pacific Ring of Fire is the region around much of the rim of the Pacific Ocean where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes may occur or happen. It is shaped like a horseshoe belt in a map with a distance that can extend to 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles, and the width may exceed to 500 kilometers or 310 miles. So based on PHIVOX, our country is a perfect site for many volcanic activity. That is why it is very important for us to know this phenomenon so that we can lessen the risks and its negative impacts. So what is PHIVOX? PHIVOX means Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. According to phivox.dosc.gov.ph, Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology is one service institute of Department of Science and Technology or DOST that is primarily mandated to mitigate disaster that may occur or arise from earthquakes, volcanic eruption, tsunami, and other connected geotectonic natural phenomena. So PHIVOX is very significant institution of our government to give us important information regarding volcanoes' latest activity so that we can prepare and be safe always. Take note that this lesson is anchored on a division-made module from SDO Caloocan. So going back, you know what? The primary mission of PHIVOX is to provide and to give us quality, timely, and socially inclusive information and services for disaster preparedness, for warning and mitigation, and that will only be possible through the development, improvement, and application of several or various technologies for monitoring and accurate prediction of several areas or locations prone to earthquakes, tsunamis, volcanic eruption, and other connected hazards and gender responsive capacity enhancement for comprehensive disaster and risk reduction. There are so many volcanoes located in the Philippines, one of which is the Mayon volcano, which is considered active and famous. Another one is the Pinatubo, which erupted in 1992 and destroyed the shelter of thousands of people. But above all this, who could ever forget the latest activity made by Taal volcano this year? Actually, before the COVID-19 became a worldwide issue, Taal volcano became top of the news last year and this year. And to refresh our mind from the Taal's latest activity, let us watch together some news regarding that. So I hope you get some idea on the news that we have watched a while ago. So we all know that one of the part of volcanoes is the crater. It is a funnel-shaped opening located at the top of the volcano. But there is also a larger kind of crater, which is what we call caldera. Caldera is formed when the wall of the volcano collapses, which is followed by an explosive eruption. And to strengthen our knowledge about volcano, it's time for us to hear the voice of your classmate through the report about the different classification of volcano. So let's hear the report of group number 1. So I will just elaborate more the report of your classmate by giving some additional information. So we have also the classification of volcano for today's lesson, which is according to the record of eruption. And that classification is divided into two. It may be active volcano. When I say active, these are the volcanoes that erupted 10,000 years ago based on the analysis of the materials. The second one is the inactive, which are the volcanoes with no eruption for the last 10,000 years ago. And another classification is according to the shape of their cones. First in line is that we have shield volcano. It is known for its low profile, broad, and slightly domed structure. The cinder cone volcano is characterized by steep slope and wide crater, while the composite cone volcano is large and is described as having nearly perfect shaped structure. Another information is the dormant and extinct volcano. When we say dormant, it is one type of active volcano which is not erupting but will likely to erupt again. But when we say extinct, it is one volcano that is not erupting for so long and is not expected to erupt again in the future. So in short, when we say dormant, there's still a chance in exploding. But when we say extinct, there's no chance that this volcano will erupt. Okay? So let me introduce to you examples of volcanoes according to the shape of their cones. Let us elaborate more. Number one is the shield volcano. Shield volcano is formed due to the accumulation of lava that oozes out from the volcano. It is formed or produced by the fluid accumulated by basaltic lava. The shape that will be formed is broad, slightly domed structure, and look like a warrior shield. Many of the shield volcanoes begin on ocean floor which can lead to volcanic island. Example of that is the Mauna Loa in Hawaii. The second type is the cinder cone volcano. It is formed from ejected fragments of lava. As the term implies, cinder cones are formed from fragments of ejected lava that resembles the appearance of cinders, and when they start to harden in their travel, these lava fragments can range in size, from small to large size, but most of them are composed of pea to walnut size. Example of cinder cone is the Paricutin volcano in Mexico. And the third classification is the stratovolcano, which is also called composite cone volcano. Stratovolcano is the Earth's picturesque but dangerous volcano. Most of them are positioned in the Pacific Ring of Fire. It is formed due to the alternate solidification of lava and pyroclastic deposit. An example of that is the Mayon volcano that we had in our country. So here are some of the list of the volcanoes found in the Philippines. We have the Kabaluyan, Kokoro, Iraya, Canlaon, Mayon, Pulong, Smith, Taal, Tamburok, and Orot. So these are just some of the many volcanoes that we had in our country. So in this diagram, you can see that the number of eruption of volcanoes varies from one another. And you can see here also the latest activity made by each volcano. And through the latitude and longitude of each volcano, we can be able to detect where are they in the Philippines. So that is the activity that we are going to have today. In activity number 2 is all about plotting the location of this volcano. And also, through the number of historical eruption, we can say if the volcano is active or inactive. Take note, we can say that the volcano is active if the eruption happens within 10,000 years ago. But if there's no record of eruption for the last 10,000 years ago, it is named as inactive. So let's begin with our activity number 2. So the instruction is to plot the location of volcanoes found in our country using the diagram or table that I have presented a while ago. So you have to use the assigned colors for each type of volcano. And I will teach you how to do that. So group 1 will work on Iraya and Tamborok. Group 2 will find the location of Mayon and Pulong. Group 3 is for Smith and Taal. And group 4 is for Tamborok and Mayon. So the first thing to do is to get your Philippine map, your printed Philippine map or any drawing of that. And you have to follow the table that I have presented. So I will just give some example. Canlaon and Orot is the volcano that I'm going to use in my example. So here in this table, you can see the latitude and the longitude of Canlaon and Orot and also their number in terms of historical eruption. So the latitude and longitude are the coordinates that will help us to locate Canlaon and Orot from the Philippine map. So the second thing to do is to find the latitude. By the way, when I say latitude, it is an imaginary line on the map which is in the horizontal position. So all the horizontal line here that you can see is what we call latitude. So when you say longitude on the other hand, these are also imaginary line on the map which is considered in the vertical position. So here, the vertical position here is what we call longitude. So latitude of Canlaon is 10 degree 24 minutes. So on the left side of your map, you can see number here. So find here 10 degree and 10 minutes. And draw a line from 10 degree, straight line, and that is the latitude of Canlaon. Then after that, find that 123 degrees 7 minutes of Canlaon down here. So at the bottom of the map, you can see numbers again, and that is what we call longitude. So 123 degrees 7 minutes is somewhere here. So put a line here going up, and it represents the longitude of Canlaon. Okay, so let us draw a line. So the green line here represents the latitude of Canlaon, while the yellow line going up is the longitude. The point of intersection of the green and yellow line is the location of Canlaon, meaning the point of Canlaon is somewhere here in Visayas. So as you can see, I color it red because Canlaon erupted more than 10 times. 26 eruption to be exact. So you have to follow this legend onto what color you are going to use. You have to color the volcano blue if there is no record of eruption. Color it yellow if the volcano erupted 1 to 5 times. And green if the volcano erupted 6 to 10 times. How about the Orot? So Orot, the latitude of Orot is 5 degree 59 minutes. So 5 degrees somewhere here. Just put a horizontal line there. And the longitude of Orot is 121 degrees 15 minutes. So the intersection or the point of intersection between the latitude and longitude is the location of Urot. Okay, so Urot is color blue now because according to this table, there is no record of eruption regarding the activity of Urot. Zero record of eruption. So in the legend, it is color blue. So that is the way you gonna finish your activity number 2. Just follow the legend and the table that I presented. Okay? So Canlaon is considered active since it erupted more than 10 times for the past years. And Orot is an inactive volcano since there is no record of eruption for the last 10,000 years ago. And to see how well you understand the lesson, let's have some recitation. First is for you to answer this question. What are the classification of volcano? According to its record of eruption and according to the shape of its cone. How can you plot the location of volcanoes in our country? And how can you determine if the volcano is active or inactive? So here are the references. If you want to watch again the video, here are the links for you to click. So I hope you learn a lot from today's lesson. And for you to check yourselves about the learnings that you've got, let's have some quiz. So I want you to open your browser and type joinmyquiz.com and wait for the code for it to be flashed in your screen. Regarding your assignment, just make a reflection on your notebook about the things you have learned today and how you will apply your learning into reality.